So you're thinking about running your very first 10K race.
But how do I know if I'm ready?
Let's talk about it in this video. Let's go! That was a bit awkward with this one. Welcome back to Between Miles.
Hi!
Today we're gonna talk about 10K races.
Yeah.
If you are a beginner runner, or even if you're a runner that has been running for a long time but just never done a race,
Yep.
a 10K race may very well be your first race. And it might be your distance forever,
Yeah.
because the 10Ks can be so hard. Damn.
Have you raced a 10K race recently?
I have done a 15K recently,
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
but a 10K last year. Last year I did my last 10K and I struggled and I suffered.
Yeah, I think 10K might be my scariest distance
Yeah, it's,
of all the races I've done.
yeah. But we're not here to scare
No.
anyone. The 10K race is not scary because of the distance, just because as you get into longer distances, if you want to, the 10K all of a sudden is very short to warm up.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is a perfect distance to start with when it comes to running races.
Yeah.
I think the first thing many people might do is a 5K,
Yeah.
but that depends maybe a little bit on where you live. So in the UK, there's a lot of park runs.
Yeah.
Yep. And elsewhere in Europe, they do also have park run, but not as much.
No.
So for many people, the 5K might be where they start, but maybe the 10K is like your first official race.
Yeah.
And it's a really fun distance.
It's a fun distance if you know and go in prepared.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a scary distance for me because whenever I've raced it, I've always gone out a bit too fast. And I
Yeah.
think on a 10K, it's very easy to go out fast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
You're
you think,
like-
I'm going to go like my 5K pace. And then all of a sudden you get to 6K and you're like, oh, I got a lot longer to go.
Yeah, but it's double.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's like if we think about somebody running maybe their very first 10K.
Yeah.
I think this video is for people running their first 10K. What would be your number one tip to make sure, or actually what we want to talk about is like how to know if you're ready. But I guess like we can go through it like,
Yeah.
okay, how do you know you're ready? What is the first thing that people can look at to make sure that they are ready?
I think if you've started your running journey and you've been running for a little bit, maybe you've never done that distance before in training and you're trying to think, am I ready to do this distance? You know, have you been following a plan? Maybe you set up a plan to run your first 5K, catch the 5K, and now you're sort of trying to get a bit further in those distances.
Yeah.
Then I think that's a great step.
Yeah.
You've done your first 5K and now you want to do another race and you want it to be longer. I think you're ready.
Yeah.
Also, if you've been running multiple times a week and you feel comfortable, you know, at those, maybe doing interval sessions, doing one longer run, and you just generally feel a bit more confident about your running ability, I think that's perfect to be like, I want to take on the next challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a 10K could be something that you can do without speed.
Yeah, 100%.
So you can do it, like you don't necessarily have to have done interval sessions, but if you are following any plan to get ready for a 10K, it is pretty likely that there would have been something like that in there.
Yeah.
Something a little bit speed related.
Yeah.
How long would you say the longest run before a 10K should be for somebody?
If you've never done a 10K before, then I would say a 6 or 7 kilometer run
Yeah.
is absolutely fine. That's all you need for your first 10K.
But I can hear people ask themselves like, but if that is my longest distance, how do I know that I can actually do 10?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's very similar to a lot of marathon distances,
Yeah.
even half marathons. A lot of people in their training block will never get up to that distance.
Yeah.
So you got to think, if you're running 2 to 3 times a week,
Yeah.
you're building up that ability to run and have that cardio. You may not be running it in one go in the training, but your legs will be ready for it.
Yeah, and before you run this race, even if it's your very first race, you're not going to be running
No.
like the day before, 2 days before. You will still rest up a little bit before you run your race. So you will get to that start line feeling fresh.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that's the idea.
Yeah.
So what are other things that people can kind of use to, you know, calm themselves down? If they're like, oh, I'm not sure I can run this distance. I have done 6-7K, but I don't feel ready.
Yeah, what I would do is, especially if it's maybe a bigger race and there's paces there, which if you've not been to a race, is someone that will have a flag on them that says what pace they're going to be running at.
Yeah.
So either it will be the pace per kilometre or it will be the finish time. So it could be like, you know, 2 hours or, you know, whatever you're following. So what I'd do is I would try and predict what you think your 10K is going to be. You know, go off maybe your 7K time. And if you're going out there just to finish, go more relaxed with your pace so you know that you can finish it.
Yeah.
And try and stick to those paces.
Yeah.
Find that person that is going a pace that you've done before or a pace that you know you can hold. Stick with them, and there's usually a group of people around the paces.
Yeah.
So you know, you feel a bit more comfortable, you're not running alone.
Yeah. What you can also do if you are like, okay, I just really don't know what kind of pace I should be running to make sure I can hold this, is take your 5K time. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a race time. If you have a race time, this calculation will be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So 5K easy, double that.
Yeah.
So let's say your 5K easy takes you 30 minutes. So your 10K could maybe take you 60. And then just add an extra 5 to 10 minutes for potential fatigue.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be fine, especially on race day. If you have a 5K race time where you know you gave it your all, so maybe you ran that in 25 minutes, again, double it, 50 minutes. And again, now because we're running fast, add at least 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then work that back to your pace per kilometer. And then you have a little bit of a nice target.
Yeah.
If you've been training a lot, I think you kind of know. You know what feels easy to you, and you can say, okay, I'm gonna go a bit faster than that easy on your race. But if you're just like super worried about how fast should I run, do that, and then just try to run that pace, either all throughout the race, so you just like you pick one pace and you run it steady. So you pick that pace, you run it steady the whole 10K. Or if you want to be, you know, a little bit more, I guess, like conservative, you start a bit slower even than that pace.
Yeah.
And then every kilometer you allow yourself to go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
No.
Because if you go too much, you're going to overdo it. So I'm talking literally about maybe up to 5 seconds faster max every kilometer.
Yeah. But I think for your first one, try not to overcomplicate it.
That's
Try to just go out there.
Yeah. This might already be too difficult. The most important thing is indeed that you just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You don't need to be super crazy well prepared. Just make sure that you drink some water before and that you have fun.
Yeah.
Let go of pressure.
Yeah, and I think what's super important as well is it's so easy for your first race to get caught up in the start line, in it being your first race, in just general vibes, and everyone's a bit nervous. The nervous energy spreads like wildfire. And I think it's really good to go and just try and set out a little bit slower.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up and go out and be like, I feel strong, I feel ready, and you burn through those legs.
Also, if you find yourself after that first 1K or first 2K and you're like, I sprinted, this was too fast, it's totally okay. Don't stress out and just back down.
Yeah.
Start to go slow. that's your moment to kind of recoup and to start being a bit more chill and to not be so, stressed out about that speed that you already put into your legs.
Yeah.
Because I've been there. Like, you start the race, you feel indeed that energy, and then you look at your watch and you're like, oh no, that was way faster than I wanted to go.
Oh no.
But the worst thing you can do there is to really start stressing,
Yeah.
because you still have plenty of time. So you can just back down and recover.
Yeah. If anything, you got to think, if you do now a slow kilometre after a first fast kilometre, you probably averaged out
Yeah,
a good, 2 kilometres.
exactly.
So actually, you might think, oh no, I'm going too slow, but you're not.
Yeah, no, just recover, get your heart rate under control,
Yeah,
chill,
exactly.
enjoy.
Enjoy.
I think that's it. Just no pressure, enjoy, have fun. And then after that, you can plan your second one
Yeah.
and you can start maybe setting some small goals.
And then you know what it's like.
Yeah,
And also, if you go in with a nice, relaxed 10K, enjoy it, have the feel of it, then you have a good target time to beat for your next one,
exactly.
which is great.
Exactly. All right, that's it. That's how you know if you're ready to run a 10K
That's it.
and a little bit on how to do it.
Yes.
All right, see ya.
Enjoy. Bye.